Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unregulated Leadership. I am one of your hosts, Lavanya Douglas, and we also have Chloe as one of your hosts, and she is going to introduce our guests for today.
So we have Chef Tina Wazirian with us. Tina, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hi guys. I am Chef Tina. People know me as Chef Tina Wazirian. I am a chef and food consultant. 4 years ago, it's been 4 years now, I've been doing charity work in Beirut and in Jordan in the food industry.
Nice. So how did you get started in cooking, and what inspired you to start with what you're doing?
The Beirut explosion got me into this field of work. So as right after the explosion, I'm a chef. I thought, what can I do to help people? And so I started cooking from home. And then 7 months later, I started opening community kitchens in different areas. And a year ago, I moved to Jordan, and that's what I do here now.
Wow. That's awesome. Did you always like to cook? Is that something that you always...
Yes, it's something that I always like to do. Even my childhood is spent in the kitchen. My mom, her sisters, my grandmother, we all cook.
Nice.
Tina, tell us about how many people you started helping with the Beirut explosion. Like, okay, the Beirut explosion happened. You went down to the streets. You started cooking meals for people. Tell us more about that.
So when I first started, I remember I just made a huge pot I went and bought the biggest pot I can find. I made pasta with tomato sauce, but I didn't know how I was going to distribute it. So I made the pots and I bought the plates and everything. And I went down to the streets. I parked on a sidewalk. And then I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, am I just going to stand there and people are going to approach me and take the meals? So it was really, it took a long time, and I sent my friends out to go tell people that I had food here that I was distributing for free. It was a disaster. Went back home and I organized myself, and I started cooking from home and doing packaged meals, and I would draw like a little heart on it so they knew that where it was coming from, and I posted on my social media every single day. And I got a lot of support from my friends, and then I got a lot of support from followers. So it really pushed me to continue to do the work, and it challenged me to do it every single day. So I started doing 70 meals a day, and then I add up those numbers, because what would happen was a lot of NGOs started hearing about me and wanted to distribute meals in their own regions. So they would call me and say, hey, do you have extra meals today? So then I allocated a number of meals per NGO that I was working with. So eventually I was doing 300 meals, 350 meals a day. And I would send 50 to each NGO, or 100, it would depend, and they would do the distributions. So that helped me a lot, because it was difficult to do the food, pack it, and then go down to the street and then distribute it to the houses. So now after 7 months, I had a system. And then I raised some funding, and then I opened a community kitchen, and that's where it started. And we did 5 in total at the end of 2 years.
Wow. That is amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Was there anyone helping you do the cooking?
The first 7 months, it was me and my aunts alone in the kitchen. So I was exhausted. Like every 3 weeks, I would burn out, and then I would sit. My friends know I would sit for like 4 days, and I didn't want to do anything. And then I would get up again, and people would, push me, and I started again. Later on, I mean, over 300, and I started realizing that it wasn't feasible in my home kitchen anymore. I mean, my burners were like running out. The pots and pans, utensils I use in the kitchen were like wearing down, because they're not used to that heavy load. So when I opened a community kitchen, I hired people to run the kitchen, and then we used professional kitchens. So because of the explosion, a lot of the restaurants weren't using their kitchens, so I would basically rent it from them. So eventually I had a staff, to do the cooking.
You mentioned something about burnout. And a lot of times as leaders, like we want to help, we see a need and we're just like figuring out how we can help, right? And so, knowing what you know now, because what would you possibly have done differently starting out so that you wouldn't be burnt out, in the future? Because as people go into doing things, it's like there has to be a balance, and starting out with a balance could possibly help with that burnout. So what would you do
Exactly.
differently if you know what you know now, starting out for other people that are, trying to
I
start
would
doing
have
something to help?
definitely planned. Yeah, I would have planned. I would have, and I would have tried to, perfect that balance. I would have cooked less days. I would have cooked less meals so that I wouldn't burn out. I would have asked for, because I'm a chef, so when I'm in the kitchen, I don't really want anyone in the kitchen with me. This is when I do catering, or when I'm doing like a menu for a restaurant or something. So I'm used to being, in control. So I didn't allow any people to be in the kitchen at first. But after a few burnouts, I was like, it's fine if the cucumbers are not perfectly cut, and it's fine if, the pasta comes out a little more cooked than it should be. It's okay. So I let people in.
I love that. Accepting help is what I hear you say. Accepting
Yes.
help. Because as much as we want to do it the way we like it, sometimes we need some help.
That's a
Yes.
good point for burnout, by the way. I've never actually thought of that or considered that one of the solutions, like accepting help not to get burnt out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Delegating.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard, especially if you're a professional in a field. You think you know
Yes.
best. You think
Mhm.
volunteers that want to come out think that they have no clue, and they're just going to ruin everything for you and your reputation and stuff. But then
Mhm.
you forget that you're helping people. It's a completely different field.
Yeah. But even in that, right? Like, because we're leaders. And so as we're leaders, we develop other people. We teach them what we know so that they can, you know, live up to what our standards are, as opposed to being like, my standards too high, you're not going to be able to match it. It's like we invest in the people so that they can match our standards, And so, yeah.
And you get the right kind of help, because now it's not only people that are helping you as volunteers, they're actually, they have a clue of what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Gina, you mentioned that you're in Jordan now and you're cooking, and can you tell us more about that? What exactly are you working on now in Jordan?
So in Beirut, when I was doing a lot of charity work, well, I got married. That's why I'm here. And my husband works here. And
Congratulations.
thank you very much. And when I was in Beirut, throughout this experience, the first 2 years, I tried a very different types of donations, if you like. So I did diaper distribution, baby formula. I did like random kitchen like appliances. So eventually I did food. In the last 6 months I was there, I did only sanitary napkin distribution. So I was very interested. I never thought I would be in this field, and I wanted to try out different parts of it, like different field. Like, do I want to work with kids? Do I want to work with women? Do I want to work with men? Do I want to work with I don't know, maybe I just want to stay and create community kitchens. So when I moved to Jordan, I had an idea of, I wanted to stay in food, but I also wanted to help women, because that's what I was doing towards the end. So when I moved to Jordan, my mother-in-law and husband had opened an NGO a long time ago. Currently, they teach English there. So when I came here, I'm like, oh my God, that's a great opportunity. And it was a sign for me to continue my work. And so I started giving cooking classes in that NGO, low budget, so that anyone could come and take a class. And then I raised a little bit of money so I can start a community kitchen there. So today was our 9th distribution. We doubled to 100 meals, which I'm proud of. And I'm currently also, and I'm currently also reading on what's taking courses on maybe opening, or question mark giving maybe counseling to women that are either battered women, children, trafficked. So I'm kind of like, that's like something I never thought I would even think about 5 years ago. 5 years ago I was like looking for the next best restaurant.
Can you tell us what NGO means for the people that don't know what an
That's what I do now
NGO
in
is?
Jordan.
Did you
So
hear?
it's a nonprofit. So
Mhm.
I started off as an initiative. Okay, so I was by myself. I didn't have a bank account, no paperwork. I didn't have like accounting, their financials. Like I didn't have any of that. How I started off was I would cook at home. I would use my own money. First, like my friends would give me $50, $20. I would gather up this money and then I would cook. So I didn't have anyone coming in. I didn't have that in the beginning. I didn't have staff. I didn't have a lawyer. I had none of these things. Okay, and I didn't think I was going to continue. I mean, for that long, and I didn't think it was going to get that big. When I came here, so the difference between an initiative and an NGO is, one, it's nonprofit. So everything that you donate, there's transparency, and it goes directly to the person in need. So for me, that would be people that want meals, women that have problems. We also have a kids center where we empower children and give them activities in that NGO as well. So we raise funds. People now donate to the account of the NGO. So it's like an initiative, but as a business. Think of it. It runs as a business.
So then, how would you say your priorities changed from when you first started until now? Versus
personally, I've become a better I've become more intuitive. I understand people more. I'm more sensitive to their feelings. I can tell when people are, in need. I know better ways of helping people depending on their circumstances. So I feel like that's helped me for every day. And how I've improved at work, I've become more organized. I have a lot of experience now. And it helps me with managing my time. It helps me managing other people's time that are helping me out.
How do you see your role as a leader in this and inspiring others to even come assist you in what you're doing? Like, how do you get people to buy into what you're doing? And because it's not easy. What you're doing is not like simple. So
I use my Instagram platform a lot to motivate people. One, to donate, two, to help out and volunteer. And with my experience in the kitchen, because I've had professional experience, it's easy for me to manage people, like volunteers that are coming out to help me cook, for example, or that just want to come out and help me pack. I use my Instagram platform to show people, one, it gives them transparency for the people that are donating to see where their money is going. Two, it motivates people and shows them, to come out and to volunteer to either pack or cook or to distribute. That's also an option that I offer, is that you can make a donation, you can sponsor a few meals, and then you can also go and pick up the meals and distribute them to whoever you think is in need.
I showed Lavanya your Instagram page just now.
Yeah. Yeah, I always try to post a lot about it, and although a lot of people find it disturbing, kind of, which I don't know, I didn't see it that way, but some people find it disturbing though, because I'm private. Like when I post sanitary napkin distribution or food distribution or whatever, when people are receiving the goods, I sometimes take pictures, not of the people, but like if they happen to be in the thing, I put like a big heart in their face. So So I get a lot of messages like, oh, like that you shouldn't do that. That's not nice and whatever. But I feel it actually majority of the people appreciate that because it's transparency, and it kind of like wakes something up in them to like want to help. Because sometimes you need it like in your face, like you need it right there, like raw footage.
Yeah, but you're putting the hearts on the face, or you're covering the face, so you're like, what they're saying isn't true. Like, you're not invading somebody's privacy or showing that they're vulnerable or whatever. You're just showing the action that you're doing, or what I mean,
exactly.
Giving.
Sometimes, like you said, if it's not in your face, you don't realize how many people actually are in need. And so it brings awareness to what you're doing and the need for what you're doing. So yes, I started following you, and I said I was gonna some of your recipes, and I'm gonna record myself. Cooking your recipes, and I'm gonna send it to you.
I can't wait.
I'm waiting for your feedback. Yeah.
I told her to try a Lebanese thing.
Yes, I'm gonna be an international chef. I'm gonna be an international chef, probably only in my mind. But I'm going to practice making all type of international food. So I'm going to start with yours. I'm going to record myself. Trust me. Yes, I'm excited because I love flavorful food, and it all looks delicious. So I'm going to pick one.
Thank you.
We'll make it this weekend, and I'm going to send it to you. So yeah, I'm excited.
So speaking about food, Tina, just curious question: where do you draw inspiration when it comes to creating new recipes?
Listen, my creativity can run a little wild. I mean, it's more contained now. Before, like when I would create a recipe or like try to get inspired or whatever, like I'd mix the weirdest like flavors and whatever. Now I have structure, on how to create recipes. So it doesn't go that far out. Actually, today I'm gonna post a recipe. It's a Lebanese recipe, like you find at home. It's yogurt and pasta, or yogurt and rice. Like, it's something that we always make with a little bit of powdered mint. But for example, I'm like, oh, why can't we use, yogurt to make, light pasta? So that's what the reel is about today. And so that's as far as it goes now. My creativity has a limit.
Tina's very
you don't want to waste food,
I love that though, but out of creativity comes greatness, right? And so don't cap your creativity, okay? Keep it. There's no limit to your creativity. Keep it going, okay? We like creativity. So this show is called Unregulated Leadership. So what do you think the skills that you have that makes you an unregulated leader?
The skills that I have, working in the kitchen, I feel that I am very structured. Some would say I'm a perfectionist, but I'd like to use the word structured. And I feel it's with time management, it's helped me. It's emotionally, the pressure in the kitchen, it's helped me become a good leader in this field. I feel like emotionally, you can be a little beat down because you see a lot of cases that are, hurt you or make you angry or things. So that's my feelings are in check when it comes to that. I can handle the pressure. I have a lot of experience in this field, so it's something that I've seen every day for the last 4 years. So that's one of the things. Structure. I don't burn out. I take as much as I can handle, and I feel like you need to have those characteristics in order to do and be successful in this field, especially the emotional control.
That is such a good point, because you're dealing with things that in situations that are not the best, or the people,
Yes.
That's such a great point.
A lot of times I would tell people, oh, come down, you can distribute the meals yourself, come out and see the experience and whatever. And I have a lot of people that come down and can't handle, and they leave crying because they're not used to seeing people, receive food, so a basic need, and be so grateful for it, because for them it's a lot of people, for example, don't have don't have access to protein, or they have it once a week, chicken, beef, lamb, And so they're so grateful for it. And so people take it for granted, and they don't realize, like, not everyone eats like you, and it's hard for them to accept.
Yeah. I just have to say, what you're doing is amazing, and you are reaching the lives of people that need it. And I personally believe that, we are here to have a positive impact on the people that we come in contact with and bless other people. So I think what you're doing is amazing, and we need more people in the world like you. To see a need. You took something as the explosion, as this negative, and turned it into a positive thing to help others. And I just think that is amazing.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. And we definitely need more people like you, Tina. And keep it coming. Don't have to stop.
Yeah, I'm not stopping anytime soon.
So that leads us to our next question. What is next? What can we expect next from you?
So next, I right now I'm at a place where, like, I don't know what to give more of my time to. Like, do I continue, with this, like, Instagram food consultancy thing, which also, like, I enjoy doing. But then you have this other thing that I'm doing. So it's like the food and the, helping people out and getting into this, like, NGO work, helping women, which I find more important. I mean, if I'm going to weigh both, I mean, obviously this is heavier. But so I'm at a place where, like, I don't know, do I go, like, because when the Beirut explosion happened and I was on this every single day, I had given up my career. There wasn't much to do with my career anyways because of the situation in Lebanon. Mm-hmm. But today in Jordan, it's like, especially when I first moved here, I'm like, hey, which route do I want to go? Do I want to, start and build up my career here again? Or do I want to continue doing this work? I personally think I will keep, my career by Instagram, making reels and stuff as a hobby. And then I will focus on this. So for the next few years, this is where my time will go.
And obviously something to think about is there's one thing that's more lucrative than another. And in today's world, we do need to think about these things, especially that now you're living alone, you're married, and, maybe baby soon. It is something, it's a factor. It is a factor. Yeah. And I think you have the best of both worlds, Tina, because you have your passion and what you're best at combined in both. So, yeah.
Yeah, right? That's awesome. Some people don't get that, what they're passionate about or good at an early age. Like, sometimes it takes them to in their 50s. And it's like, I knew this when I was 20. And so for you to be operating in a space where you're passionate and you're good at what you do and you enjoy it and you wake up, like, excited to do what you do. And then also learning that balance, that, taking care of yourself while you're still operating your passion, all those things that, make up a good leader. And so
it's so important, and it's such a good, like what you said is so right. So a lot of people don't, like, they think it takes too much time, or, oh, I'm already in my late 40s. Like, let me just continue what I'm doing now. What am I going to go learn something new? But it's like, I mean, I went to university. I wanted to be a doctor. I started doing biology, and I felt so bad for wasting my time. And then one day I woke up and I'm like, this isn't something that I want to do. So I did 3 years, and then I switched and went to culinary arts and did hospitality management. And then years later, I look where I am. Like, I would have never, and I'm so happy that I took this route.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
For you.
Mm-hmm. Recognizing early, because sometimes we do what our parents tell us to do too. Sometimes. Yes, I love it. Chloe, did you have any other questions, or Tina, is there anything else that you want to share with us?
No, all good here.
We want to say thank you so much for getting on our show on Unregulated Leadership.
This was great.
Yes, and I'm going to be making a recipe, so be looking for your DM from me.
I'm waiting to see your results.
It was so nice meeting you. Thank you so much for joining us. We so appreciate it.
Thank you, Tina.
Have a great day. Have a great night, Chloe.